super detailed gravestones, easy to make, and super easy to mass produce. That's this week on Tabletop Witchcraft. Hey there, welcome back to Tabletop Witchcraft. This week we're going to go into another build that I got inspiration for my trip when I was over in Italy. I was on a train between Venice and Florence, and I passed this cemetery that had these tombstones that were super flat, and the entire cemetery was filled with these. And I had never seen anything like that before. So I decided to make these a nice fun build, easy. I love these because you could add tons of detail, get super wild and creative with whatever's going through your mind that you want to add to these. You can make them quickly, and in this video I'm going to show you how to mass produce them so you can have a massive graveyard in just a couple of crafting sessions. If you want to help support the channel, real quick, Firelight Fables Candle Company, TWC10 at checkout, get you 10% off your entire order. A small kickback comes to me, as well as the same code, TWC10 at checkout, at Into the AM. Get yourself some amazing, cool, awesome graphic tees, hoodies, tank tops, you name it. Some great clothes over there. And again, a small kickback comes to me, helps fund the channel, and helps you make these awesome, fun little crafts. All right, if you're ready, let's go grab some supplies, and let's get crafting. All right, we're going to kick this video off with the Haunted Tales candle from Firelight Fables Candle Company. Awesome candle for this. Now, this is going to be a really fun, relaxing build because it's very simple and easy. The main material we're going to use for this craft is going to be dollar store foam core. Now, you're going to notice that I'm going to shave down the top part of the tomb in half with the Proxon. If you don't have a Proxon, you can very easily replace this with something like cardboard. Now, for the texture, I'm just using a little pencil. The size of the pencil is actually important because it allows you to maneuver it in a way that you can really get the texture that you need. Keeping in mind that dollar store foam core, at least in my experience, actually takes texture better than pink XPS foam, so it's another reason why I opted to go with this material. All right, now you know me, I gotta always improve on my details, my special effects, so I had to add some LEDs and some lighting to this. And we're gonna simply do that by coring out a little channel in the foam so that our wires can fit nice and flush. Now, I was really nervous here because I had to core out this pillar for my wiring. It's the only pillar that I had. If you don't have this pillar, don't worry, you can still make these gravestones. They all, A, don't have to light up, but B, you can simply make this out of some balsa wood or even XPS foam. Now, I decided to go with I think this is an 1/8 inch acrylic sheet that I'm going to be mounting the Let's Resin form to for when I pour my silicone. This is really awesome. It's got some sticky tape on the bottom that you just peel off, press it down on top of the acrylic sheet. Comes separately, you got to buy that. Again, links to all this stuff you can find on my website at tabletopwitchcraft.com, where you get a discount on all the Let's Resin equipment. And the cool thing is, once you have it in place, you take a little bit of hot glue around the perimeter of the form, and it won't leak at all. It's really nice. Gluing down all our little pieces here, it's going to be important because they're very light, and we don't want them to move or shift on us when we pour the silicone. And now we're going to be mixing a 2-part silicone here by weight, and I'm using the cool little paddle mixer by Let's Resin. I absolutely love this paddle mixer, by the way. Just one of the important things is you want to make sure that when you're done with it, you turn it off. A little bit of a runaway mess there, not a big deal. Now, pouring your silicone from a higher distance removes some of the air bubbles out of the silicone, so I advise pouring from a higher distance. This smaller one right here was a mold for the pillar that we're going to have a nice flame on. You can see how nice and easy the form is removed from the acrylic sheet when we're done. And just take your time peeling this off. You don't want to rip it off and destroy all that work. Now, there's going to be a little bit of silicone that's going to be where you don't want it. You can see it's kind of gotten under some of my tombstones. Not a big deal. We're going to come back in here with a knife and just shave that down, and we'll be all set and good to go. If working with stuff like hydrostone, plaster is new to you, I'll put a link up above to a video on exactly how to work with this stuff, how to mix it and work with it. It's a great beginner video for you to check out. Something I do want to make note of, any small little areas where you have to pour this stuff, I like to mix it a little bit thinner, so more water than you typically would have. It'll help it run into all the little nooks and crannies. Now, one of the really awesome features of this is we literally made a tombstone out of stone. So this is really cool. It's got a nice feel. It feels like a really authentic piece that we've just created. Alright, now for our LED, I'll put a link up above to my simple LED wiring video. I've made a bunch of torches like this on the channel over the years, just using some hot glue to create some very thin lines, working those lines into one, maybe two little branches, and then once that's all done, we can take the flame and just sculpt it a little bit more with just the nozzle of the hot glue gun. And then any final little wisps, a quick blast of some heat, very quick, just like that, and we'll be all set with the flame. Alright, now how awesome is this? We're not even going to paint these tombstones. We're just going to give them a heavy wash. You'll notice in some areas I'm letting it set because this hydrostone really soaks up the wash and it gives a really cool, almost like black mold effect over the tombstones. Super easy. All we're going to do is pour some black wash into all these other little bits from my Hearst Arts. Dump that back into my jar, and those are all washed and ready to go. That's all I did for painting these. Now I like to use tacky glue when I'm affixing hydrostone together. I find that it holds really well. And for this piece, just put a little around the perimeter of that hole because we're going to have pillars with flames, and we're also going to have these pots here with some glowing embers and flames as well. If you're enjoying this video and my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. These skulls right here are from Tiger Skull RPG. Check him out online. He's got a lot of really awesome models. Alright, now for running our wiring, we're going to push one of those flames through that hole on the top part of the tomb. And then we're going to bend the connectors on the back just in a 90 degree. It's all metal, so it'll bend real easy. And we're going to allow that to set right in that channel. And it's going to fit in real nice. So now we're going to wrap around this paintbrush one of the leads, and that's going to make it into sort of a spring. That way we know it's going to make contact with the bottom of the battery. Cut this second lead to the length of the hole for the battery, but leave some of the sheathing on it so that you don't strip all of that off, because you see what that little yellow is? If we strip that all off, that would be making contact with the side or the bottom of the battery, and then it won't work. So make sure you leave a little bit of that sheathing on there. That way when you tape this down, that's all we're going to do is put a piece of tape on the bottom. This will be working for you. Once you're happy with the fit, a little bit of tacky glue again on this piece, and it's all set and ready to go. Okay, now I wanted to make my own color of my pastels, and I'm simply doing that by shaving off a couple of these little pastels, mixing them together, and going pretty heavy with this in some areas. Some I'm going a little bit lighter, and affixing this in place with a little bit of pigment fixer. Keep in mind, it looks like it gets really dark, which it does, but it tends to lighten up a little bit once it dries. Adding this cool little vulture on here. I love that little detail. Now I wanted to have this one not be on fire, almost like the fire went out and just some coals are burning. So I added a little UV resin and some clear beads, and with the two LEDs below that, it's going to glow and flicker real nice. Adding a little bit of black pigment powder is going to give it that coal ashy look, and we're all set and good to go there. So for me, fall is just a spooky time of year. You've got Halloween, and what's synonymous with fall? It's the dried leaves, so I figured I'd add some of these to the tombstones and add a splash of color at the same time. Now we can dig into some static grass tufts. We don't need a lot or massive tufts over all of these. Just a little bit here and there. It looks really nice. Now don't forget, earlier we had that pigment powder that had some green in it, and that's going to layer up this moss. So we have an area where we've got just a light green layer of paint. Then we've got some moss that's growing, the green, and then we even layered the moss with a lighter green to show some aging on that as well. And you can see what that layering does to the total effect here of the tombstone. I'm digging into my diorama recipe. I'm making my own little plants. I want some nightshade growing on the spooky tombstone. So all I'm doing is taking some of the greenery from diorama recipe and making my own little nightshade plants. So we had the evil or the dark tombstone. We have to have a good one now. So I'm taking some white plants, placing them on there. And I had to go really heavy with the tacky glue, but no problem. Again, we're gonna layer this up and cover it. How? Simply by adding some leaves that would have been built up in this area anyway. And these are all set and ready for the game table. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Now, if you want to mass produce these like you saw in the video, making a silicone mold is not hard to do. It's lots of fun. Let's Resin. Head on over there, check them out. You can get a discount to all their products through my website at tabletopwitchcraft.com. Go to my affiliate tab. You can get discounts to them as well as everyone else on there that I'm affiliate with. So check them out. If you don't want to mass produce them though, you can make a whole bunch fairly quickly just by using some dollar store foam core and whatever little bits you have laying around, like extra swords, shields, and so on. TWC 10 at checkout, discount, Firelight Fables Candle Company, Into the AM. Also, head on over to Patreon. It's support there that really helps fund this channel, helps me buy the materials that I need. You can join all kinds of tiers over there, including my private Facebook page and joining me live on Discord at night while I'm crafting. You can hang out with me, we can chat together, you can show me what you're working on, and I'll give you a little sneak peek as to what I'm working on as well. Alright, thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you around.